The price of silver has gone down a bit, and I personally bought the dip. I used the chance to pick up a couple new coins for my collection. I wanted to show you those coins today and talk to you a little bit about the silver and gold market in general. You might have noticed if you watch the markets that prices have dropped a little bit this week. Nothing too severe. We've seen in the metals drops of 5%, 10%, depending on what metal you're buying. A healthy correction in my opinion. I personally used the chance to pick up a couple new coins. They were on sale because of the dip. I'm going to show you the coins, so take a look, guys. This is a coin from the Royal Mint in Great Britain. It's a coin from 2023. I just bought it yesterday, but it's a couple years old, this coin. And it features the Bull of Clarence on the reverse. Here in the obverse is, of course, King Charles. You can notice that this is a thick, hefty coin, and that is because it's a 2-ouncer. This is 2 ounces of pure silver. And I got 2 of them. Both of these are exactly the same coin. In total, 4 ounces of silver. That's what I bought yesterday when I was buying the dip in silver prices. Now, let's talk a little bit about that dip. I'm not sure what's going to happen next. I checked the markets just before I hit record on the camera. I noticed that the price of silver is actually going up again today. It was up about 1%. I think that so far we're just seeing normal volatility. I'm not too worried about the fact that the price dropped 10% over the past few days. I don't think this is going to be a huge crash. But the truth is, guys, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to the prices of gold and silver. I know that in the past, there have been big crashes. You can get big crashes. When I say a crash, I mean a drop of 40%, 50%, even up to 80%. It was 1980, I believe, that the price of silver dropped 78% very rapidly. This was after the huge run-up in the price of silver in 1979. There was a big crash. We had another huge run-up in 2011. The price then crashed. I believe it was about 30 to 40%. So silver can be volatile. You can get big crashes in the price. Why am I still buying silver? Why am I not worried about a big crash coming now? Even after the recent correction of 10%, the prices are still quite high. So are we facing another crash? Because we've had a run-up in the prices of silver over the past couple years that in a sense does remind me a little bit of the run-up that we had in 1979 and the run-up in 2011. Huge spike in the price, followed by a crash. We haven't had a crash this year. We had a bit of a correction, and I don't know what's going to happen next. I think that opinions are probably diverse. Personally, I think that the fundamentals for gold and silver are still solid. There are still a lot of problems in the world with fiat currencies. Countries are in debt up to their eyeballs. Governments are still printing money. Fiat is still struggling. Interest rates are low, and I've heard indications that the United States wants to even drop its interest rates lower. All of these things tell me that we're probably in an environment where silver and gold are still going to be strong in the future. All of these events favor silver and gold remaining at elevated prices. That said, I have no idea. These things tend to surprise you. You often see all these experts having opinions, sharing narratives, and then it can blow up in their faces. Hindsight is always 20/20. We can look back in 1980, we can look back at 2011 and explain what caused the prices to drop, but it's very hard to predict these things in advance. But I'm going to ask you this question. If you're not buying gold and silver, what are you doing with your money? If you have money left over, if you have money to save, you want to save it somehow, where else are you going to save it? You can save it in a savings account. You can save it in a high interest savings account. You can buy a bond with it. But in all of these cases, your money is still in fiat currency form. And we know that fiat currencies have done absolutely terrible over the past 50 years. Ever since the world went off the gold standard in the 1970s, fiat currencies have lost 99% of their value. This is true if you're watching in the United States, if you're watching in Canada, if you're watching in Europe. It's really a global problem. The entire world went onto this fiat currency system, and currencies have simply lost 99% of their value. So fiat currencies do not work. That is why I prefer not to have dollars or pounds or any other fiat currency. I like to have coins. I like to have coins that are silver and gold, such as these 2 new coins that I just bought. Now, the price of silver, as we said, can be volatile. It can crash 80% later this year. I realize that. If that happens, I'm going to buy more of them because I am buying something tangible. I'm buying a hard asset. These silver coins are still going to be here 50 years from now, 100 years from now. My gold coins are probably going to be here forever because gold is virtually indestructible. It doesn't decay, it doesn't tarnish, it doesn't corrode, it doesn't rust. So these coins are forever. And the price of them is going to go up and down. That's just the price in fiat currency. Don't worry about that too much. When you buy precious metals, you are buying chemical elements from the periodic table. And these metals are always going to be valuable. They're going to be used in industry, or they're just going to be valued by collectors who love the stuff. There are millions of people around the world who like to collect and stack precious metals. That's not going away anytime soon. My own approach is that when the price goes down, I just buy more, and I know that long term I'll probably be okay. I say probably because I don't know for sure, but that's what I think is going to happen. I was recently looking at the Korean currency, the won, and I noticed that if you go to South Korea, the smallest unit that you practically use in day-to-day life is about 10,000 won. So you go to the coffee shop to buy a cup of coffee, that's about 10,000 won, something like that. You buy a hamburger, that's 30,000 won. You're always transacting in units of at least 10,000, units of tens of thousands for small everyday items. And I looked back at the history of the won, and I noticed that in the 1950s, this was not true. In the 1950s, you can take 10 wons to the store and you can buy a cup of coffee, you can buy a sandwich with it. Today, you're going to need tens of thousands of wons. Their currency has essentially collapsed, lost a lot more than 99% of its value. It's lost like 99.9 something percent of its value. I believe that is very likely to happen with currencies in the West as well, with US dollars, with Canadian dollars, with Great British pounds, with euros. Because it's already happening. The US dollar has already lost 99% of its value since the 1970s. The Koreans began to lose their value in the 1950s. They're about 20 years ahead of us. This is probably going to happen to our currencies in the West as well. That's what I believe. I think that if I had a time machine and I could peek 30, 40 years into the future, a cup of coffee is going to cost me $10,000. But this silver coin, whether it's me holding it as a very old man or it's my kids and grandkids holding it, it's still going to be valuable. I don't know what currency we're going to use in 30 or 40 years. Maybe we're not going to use dollars anymore. Maybe we're all going to be using some completely different system. But this is still going to be 2 ounces of silver. It's still going to be valuable. It's still going to be important in industry. It's still going to be a chemical element. Silver and gold are extremely important metals, and that's not going to change. I know that today in the world, everything is going digital, right? We all live on Facebook and TikTok. People are using Bitcoin. Even our fiat currencies, they're not physical anymore, right? When's the last time you used actual paper money or base currency coins to buy anything? I haven't done that in a long time. I just use my debit card. So everything these days is virtual. It's all digital. These are just numbers and computer screens. There's nothing physical backing it up. I like to have hard physical assets in the real world as well. Even though I spend a lot of time on the internet and I like to waste time on YouTube as well, sort of how we're doing right now, I still appreciate having real assets, physical metals. I'm still buying them. If the price goes down, I'll probably feel a little bit bad about it. I'll feel like the recent silver that I bought, such as these 2 coins. I'll feel like maybe I bought it at the wrong time. But I think that over the years, over the decades, it's going to be worthwhile to do. It's still been worthwhile to collect these just over the past few years of me collecting them. Let me know in the comments, what are you doing? Are you still buying after this price dip? Are you buying the dip? Are you worried that we're going to have a big crash ahead? As I said, I have no idea what's going to happen. The prices can go completely wild over the next few years. And I'm not saying that fiat currencies are always going to go down. We might have a few years where we have deflation, where fiat currencies rise in value and the metals drop. I'm talking about long term, decades ahead. I'm still buying, I'm still collecting. I'm going to be buying more coins next month. I'll show them to you in another video. Let me know in the comments, guys. I want to know what you are doing. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.